rebuild of the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or guarantees for the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? We're just doing the social media thing. Although you are getting really good at this, dude. You have this thing like ripped and ready to go right away.
Yep.
I am impressed.
Well, we have competition on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, now we got. Apparently, we do. Apparently, yeah. We gotta go all West Side Story on this bitch. Did they even start yet?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Wow, late.
That's not how we roll on Wednesdays, son. That might fly on Thursdays, but that don't fly on Wednesdays.
Wednesday, dog.
This is Wednesday, son. This ain't Little Friday. This is where the blue collar workers come. Wednesday.
Where the midweek drinkers start.
Yep. Yeah.
Wait.
This is I mean, yeah, stick with the blue collar, dude.
What blue collar people drink on the weeknights?
Yep. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, May 12th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawaski, a.k.a. Father Zoe, a.k.a. the Wednesday Night OG. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
I need, like you just said right before we start to record, I need whatever the White Sox are giving Eloy Jimenez, apparently.
Yes, and we are definitely getting very into the weeds on that because I want to talk all about that. And the good Reverend K. Fids.
I just like to call first because I know that the other podcast that's going live right now hasn't started yet. So we called it first. We called Wednesday first. It's ours. I keep it.
So we're going to talk Yohan Moncada. We're going to try to give the reverse Pinwheels bump to a couple players. We're going to talk about the Sox series in Boston, the Cleveland series, what to look forward to in this big Yankee series coming up. We got a lot of Cubs news, a wild roller coaster of games in the Cubs land lately. And it looks like an unfortunate injury on Wednesday. And I mean, that's the plan. If you're new here, I'm just going to let you know a little secret of this show. Never goes by the plan. Anyways, let's tap this guy. As always, this show is brought to you by Chicago Golf Tour. If you are listening to this in the Chicagoland area, you are probably still putting the powder on them undercarriages because it is hot as hell in Chicago right now. I'm talking 90-some degrees, but it's time to get out there. Hit the links. You're going to want to be out there golfing. Chicago Golf Tour, shygolftour.com. It's not always the easiest thing in the world to go out and find people to play with. You know, we're all busy. We all got crazy things going on. Shy Golf Tour introduces you to other golfers in the area that need to get their scores in, and it also forces you to play courses that maybe weren't on your normal agenda. So, amateur golf for the common man, built on schedule flexibility, the Chicago Golf Tour, that's shygolftour.com. It's not too late to get in. Use promo code SM25 to get $25 off your initial registration fee. That's Chicago Golf Tour, shygolftour.com. I think that was my best one yet.
Bravo.
I think I nailed that one. Didn't swear once either. Pretty pumped about that. All right. So as we were joking about in the intro, because of the weird White Sox schedule this week, our friends over at the 108 who usually do Thursday night show are doing a Wednesday night show tonight. And, you know, we've been busting their chops a little bit. we've been busting their Kev, you got to use your burner account, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
crap. Let me go look.
Who is this Kevin Fiddler guy?
We've been busting
From Facebook.
I don't know.
That's a smart Facebook profile picture because you put the good looking person in the middle and you're kind of like,
Yeah, you're like barely on in the frame.
That's a smart move, man. That's a vet move.
I won't even mention how much I like them.
But they're on a Wednesday. So
Yes,
although on that ticker on the bottom, instead of it saying subscribe on YouTube, I wanted to say this because I need everybody that's watching this show live on Wednesday night. First of all, we love you. Thank you for being here. Even if you're just like, if this is like the waiting room for the 108 show, what I need you to do, what I need you to do is when they actually decide to grace everyone with their presence and go live, leave this comment section, go over to their YouTube page, and in the comment section just put Pinwheel said hi and I subscribe to your channel. Or Pinwheels told me to be here and subscribe, something of that nature. I just want them to see it because it'll be hilarious. Their show is live now. So go in their comment section now and type in Pinwheel says hi or just something like that. But make sure you subscribe to their show. I mean, they're awesome. They're literally like our family on here.
Right here.
Yeah.
Over
They're big comments in there. I think this is the first broadcast where they can get super comments,
Oh, that's awesome.
where people can pay for stuff.
How do you do that? Oh,
I
you
think
show your
you have-
support, or
No, you have to have
1,000 subs. So everyone watching right
yeah.
now, subscribe. Make
subscribe to
burners.
this.
Subscribe from those burners.
Yep.
And then make more burners.
Go to their comment section and type Pinwheel says hi, we subscribe. Because I'm seriously, guys, that would.
I'm looking for it right now. I use the Pinwheels. Ivy said hello, boys. So I'm waiting on
the first person that goes in their comment section and types in Pinwheel says hi, we subscribed. I will find a way to get you Pinwheels and Ivy sunglasses because Lord knows I got a lot of them. So
Lord knows I need more.
yeah, well, I'll send them. I just got to get off my ace. Anyways, we actually do have baseball to talk about. Now, first thing I want to address, and we need to talk about this because this is just a miracle from Tom Cruise, Jesus Christ, whoever you believe in. This is a miracle because before we went live here on Wednesday night, White Sox, I don't know if you want to call him, I don't even know what he is to White Sox Twitter anymore. He's dead to me. He's dead to me because he endorsed Buzz against me in the 108 tournament. But Hector Gomez, he's been hit or miss. Love you, Jack. He's been right on a lot of things with regards to players and Latino players. That's definitely his nom de plume. Like he was right about Eloy's contract extension in 2019. He broke that news, so he definitely has some kind of connection with Eloy's camp, whether it be Eloy himself. Some people think it's Eloy's dad or something like that, but like, he has some connection. Anyways, around 4:30 Central Time, Hector tweeted out, source, White Sox outfielder Eloy Jimenez will return in 2 weeks. Jimenez was expected to be out 6 to 8 weeks after suffering a torn hamstring on April 23rd. Bro, it is May 11th while we record this, May 12th if you're listening to this podcast. So what's that? It's been like 2 weeks since he tore it? So
it's been like 3, hasn't it?
3 weeks. Okay, so he's going to come back from a torn, not a strain, not a pulled, a torn hamstring in a month and a week. Is this a mixed diagnosis? Is this I'm
Is there a chance he means he's back to picking up a baseball, picking up a bat?
It was Saturday, April 23rd is when he got hurt. So it's been it's been
So almost 3 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks.
Okay, so 2 weeks. So yeah, 5 weeks. It's a month and a week.
Didn't they say it was going to be a similar time frame to the Grandal injury?
And in Dallas,
Grandal was 8 weeks.
In Dallas Braden time, it's been 2.5 weeks. So,
I mean,
I think Grandal was out for like 7 weeks.
I just don't see.
It could have been a slight tear then. Could have been a hairline.
It could have. I mean, do they got like Mr. Miyagi doing the whole like warming the hands, like rubbing on them or something? Like, it's just wild to me. And the thing is,
it's going to be delayed because like even when he comes back, he's going to be like on a rehab assignment for like at least a week, maybe a week.
But the White Sox are notoriously overcautious with players return to the MLB, which I'm good with. I am very good with that. That's fine by me. Okay. I'm nervous now that Eloy, who has a horrible track record now of getting hurt, is rushing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want him back unless he is 100%. I think they handled the Yohan Moncada rehab and bring back to the MLB, which we'll get to in just a minute. I think they handled that very well. I think, you know what I mean? Like, they took their time, whatever. Andrew Vaughn, they could have easily just thrown him back in the fire. They're having him play a couple games in Charlotte. I'm happy with that. Like all that fun stuff. That's good. I just thought you put your microphone out the window.
Oh no, that was
it was Aldo.
Aldo.
Yeah.
Heavy breathing.
But yeah, I just hope they don't rush it. That's my biggest thing. I don't think Hector is wrong. I'm not saying Hector is wrong. I know people like to shit on Hector because of the whole Machado episode and all that stuff, but like, I get really nervous when I see stuff like this with Eloy. I need him back 100%. And all of us need to say thank you to Jack because he prayed to Herm Schneider to get him back healthy. But I don't know, that's really my 2 cents on the whole thing. I mean, I fully expected Eloy back like end of June, start of July, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is just because obviously I think we're going back to.
Oh wait, sorry, Aldo. The homeboy Johnny Gym Shoes has entered the chat.
Yeah,
that's my guy, dude. What's up, Johnny Gym Shoes?
Do you know he's not in our chat right now, but is saying Feliz cumpleaños? Lil Yumper is in their chat right now.
I see how it is. I
don't see Yumper talking in our chat right now. I see Johnny Gym Shoes and Mailman Jack, and I don't see Yumper.
Has anybody said Pinwheel says hi yet?
No.
That's a
wow.
fucking shame.
That's a
that
shame.
Is a fucking
I'm actually
shame.
hurt by
backfired,
Yumper. Cubs fan ignoring a Cubs podcast to go into a White Sox only podcast.
I'm about to create a YouTube burner just to do it.
Well, everybody, Slack's Twitter's on Kevin's ass this week after what he did on.
We're talking about that too. Oh, we are
after what he did earlier this week.
But wait.
We got to go the rules of jinxing, though. We got to talk about the rules of jinxing.
Just finish your point.
The quick thing, I think so. I think Hector's out here just making up stuff. Obviously, he said he has some sort of connection to Eloy, whether it's just directly him, family, whoever. I think this is just thrown out there by Eloy. Just hey, I'm very optimistic right now. I'm feeling great. I think I can go in 2 weeks. I think that's all this is. Because there's no way the White Sox would try to rush him back. Like even if like their offense keeps struggling, because like even though they did go on that winning streak before that game against Cleveland, I mean the offense still looks a little shaky out there. So I hope it's not that. So I think this was just like Eloy being like, "Hey, get this out there. I'm feeling great. Let me put some positive PR for myself out there."
I really hope that's what it is, because I want him to take his time, because it's easier for me to sit here and say Eloy should take his time when you fire off a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game win streak.
7.
No, 6.
No, it was 7. I saw it.
They were 6 games, and then
it was 7. I saw it on Twitter.
It was
7 games.
I broke the 7th game, and then they got 8 out of 7 out of 8.
Kevin is very lucky that Danny Parkins, like radio host from 670 The Score, tweeted out basically the same thing that Kevin did.
It would have worked out just fine.
Most of that.
Had I not hashtag White Sox, I'd have been fine, because it was the hashtag White Sox. The rest of it could have been completely just generic. I could have been like just cool and cool,
because it was talking about your MLB the Show, your MLB the Show team.
Yeah, I tweeted this. My tweet was lose 8 games in a row, whatever it was, and then win 7 games in a row. Gosh, I love baseball, whatever. And then it was like hashtag White Sox, and then I tagged Zoe. So if I had just left that 2 part out, those happen in the game all the time. It's what makes the game beautiful. And I'll be honest, I think I might have even challenged the baseball gods a little bit by saying that, by saying this is beautiful, because some dude driving in 8 runs after the 7th inning is fucking incredible. And baseball lore, even if it goes against the White Sox, the dude hit a granny and hit a 3-run jack to tie the game, to win the game. I mean, baseball was like, dude, you thought that was cool. Check this out. So that's my fault, because I brought the baseball gods to try and up the game of holy crap. I just saw something I've never seen in this game before in my life just now.
But the big story though, the grand slam and the 3-run homer were cool, but that wasn't the coolest thing. Jose Ramirez play at third with bases loaded.
Oh my god! And that scoop,
that was incredible.
Again, Naylor
was just unbelievable. But I'm laying in bed, dude. I'm trying to like go to sleep. I'm tired as shit, and I'm watching the game on YouTube TV on my phone, and I get this notification from Twitter that pops down, and it's your dumbass tweet. And I'm like, did you notice how I didn't like or respond to it? I saw it, Kevin. My face turned fucking bright red.
the best
My
response.
my wife looked at me and she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, Fiddler's a fucking moron. And then literally as I was finishing that sentence, grand slam.
Look,
And I was
first
just
off,
like,
look, it's like this. I'm not I'm a Cub fan. So I feel like there's got to be some
that
sort of
makes it worse.
Huh?
It makes it worse.
Yeah, Kevin kept mentioning that. I'm like, that doesn't make it any better, bud.
No.
If I'm getting no hit if I'm on the other team and I'm getting no hit, I go, that guy's throwing a no hitter. Or, oh, this will never happen. We'll never come back from a 9-run deficit. I'm just jinxed the other team. You can't. As a Cub fan, I didn't think I could do that. Like, honestly, I didn't think. Maybe it's because the universe does know that I have a side love of the White Sox. That I'm rooting for them because I like you guys, and you guys are, White Sox fans are people that I care about. But I do want to read some of the responses. Can I just show you guys some of the responses that I got on that one?
Go ahead, because this is so ridiculous. Go ahead.
Yeah, you'll see the actual tweet. So let's see. I got to go back a little bit. What date was that? What was the date?
It was
Monday night.
Monday night.
So the 9th?
The 9th.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I did. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, because I actually predicted that they would. Okay. Yeah, and I also, 7 in a row.
Read the whole.
No,
tweet,
just
Kevin.
share your screen.
And then I'll
Pull
read
it up
it
on your
for those of you
screen.
that are listening. For those of you that are listening, you'll be able to. Hold
And
on.
if you see this or listen to this and you don't realize why my face got so red and so mad at this,
It's so if you're seeing it on the screen, you're seeing even the Bruce Almighty GIF, which says beautiful. But that says 7 in a row, immediately followed by an 8-game losing streak. I love baseball. And then hashtag Southside Zone White Sox. So first response was I got a middle finger from Sockside Boys 2.0.
love them.
From Tim Anderson. Good. I got a cat. Damn it, I'm not going to say GD, but that, and he spells it with DAMNIT. By the way, little pet peeve, guys. It's DAMMIT. Just let's keep the N out of it. It's not. There's no N there. By the way,
If you're gonna swear at Fitz, spell it right.
Yeah,
please use proper spelling and grammar. And I did use some Buster to respond. But then we got not over yet from Stokes, and here's me being a smart ass. Wait for it. And then I turned the game back to the game, and Bud, you fudged up big time. And I got you up
to be
with
fair,
mush.
To be fair to you, Kevin. To be fair to you, Kevin, when you were tweeting back, it still was only 8-4 before, and I think it was 8-4. Cleveland had runners at first base, 2 outs, 1-2 count.
And the next one's from Brewhand Luke. Simple. What the fuck? I got oof from a Cub fan, which that's fine. And then I used the Picard thing. So yeah, that wait,
you gotta play. You gotta play the video.
Oh yeah. Where's the video?
I think it's under the "you fudged up bad Bud" comment. I think.
Or no? Did you posted your own?
Oh, I think I did. I don't remember. I was so mad.
The best part was though that Kevin was still like, "Guys, it's fine. They're gonna win." And then it's like, they're not.
No.
Really confident.
Hey, while you guys do this, I gotta dip for just a minute. I got a situation I gotta take care of. I'll be right back.
So here is the video that he made on the wonderfully awesome site called what is it called? Pinata. So here's a Pinata video from Southside. I'll go ahead and turn the volume up for you guys too.
You can do it. No. Frankie Kofi can't no good. I don't want his face looking at that face when he's throwing my dice. No. Jimmy, get a towel from the bar. Put it over his head. Come on, Sonny. Put him in the fucking bed. Get him out of here. Come on. Wait a minute. Money here. Get over
So yeah.
So Kevin, how does it feel? You are the new Bob Nightingale of White Sox Twitter.
I guess so. We call it old people call it. We call it Chick Hearn. You don't go and get Chick Hearn. Do you guys remember the old broadcaster with the Lakers, Chick Hearn? He would do his old and the refrigerator's cold and the milk's on ice and the blah blah blah. But if he did it too early, you were toast. Like you knew the Lakers were going to lose. So Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy the fact that a Cub fan can jinx, the White Sox, but I guess the baseball gods decided differently. So, I mean, I guess I'm the super secret weapon against the Cardinals when they're beating the Cubs. I'm just gonna be like, no way the Cubs are coming back on this one, and like say something nice about the Cardinals, and then I guess so. I mean, I mean, how do you give up? Here's me. How do you give up 6 runs?
Yes, that's the bigger part. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could be mad at me all you want. I didn't throw a single pitch out there. I didn't clank a ground ball. I didn't, but that was, I mean, honestly, that was, I actually flipped it off for a second. I started watching this Navy SEALs documentary on Apple TV Plus because I'm like, this shit's over. I'll wait till the White Sox are hitting again, and then I'll, if it comes back to that, and then, whoops. And you don't think I wasn't sitting on because I was watching in the back because girlfriend was watching Bridgerton. Our fiance was watching Bridgerton in the front. So I had to watch baseball in the back on the bed with my buddy, a pup. And, yeah, she, I'm just, please God, win this. I'm like, I didn't fuck it up unless they lose. And then the 3-run bomb, I'm like, God dang it. And the thing is too, and I'm sure Zoe, when he gets back, we'll talk about it too, but there were a lot of White Sox fans that were very upset that Tony La Russa didn't call for an intentional walk of Naylor with 2 outs, guys on first and second, with a dude on the bump that actually walks a guy every other. Basically it was like a walk-in inning he averages basically, and to intentionally walk a guy to load the bases with 2 outs, and yeah, he would have faced a 180 hitter, but you don't want to put a guy that can't throw strikes in a position like that. You pitch around, you pitch carefully, you make them chase stuff, but you don't you're not going to intentionally, you want to make them chase. You want to missing your spot that horribly. That's a major league pitcher, man. And I even Tony La Russa, he did say it later. He's like, yeah, we were just trying to pitch him tough, which translation, pitch him tough means make him chase. If he doesn't chase, move the line, and it's fine. And then we move on. But that pitch was not careful. That was so.
I mean, even before that, that's the thing. Like we're talking about, going back to just giving up the 6 runs in the 9th inning. Like Liam Hendricks, you are paid. You are one of the highest paid closers in baseball. I mean, I said it in the chat when after he gave up the grand slams. Like, I mean, he's been really overused for the past week. I think he was used in 6 straight days or 6 straight games in a 7 day stretch. He could obviously once you get to the point when you're up 8-2 and you have to get your closer, even getting him up, it's like your bullpen already failed at that point because there is no circumstance why that should ever be happening. And there's the Moncada error, there's the TA error after the single from Rosario on the throw in from the outfield. Just it was all the little things that led to that meltdown on Monday.
Yep. And I know you guys are anti-bunters. I know you guys really are, but I thought the thing in the bottom of the 9th inning, what happened was the bottom of the 10th inning, they had guys on first and second, nobody out. They had already tied the game up. So they, on a stupid play by the Indians pitcher by trying to go to the plate instead of just taking the out. And so they had guys on first and second, nobody out. And here's Larry Garcia, who's hitting 180. He's struggling. Do you want that guy to go up there and roll into a double play? And then it's guy on third and Tim Anderson up, and guess what they do to Tim Anderson in that situation? Still walk him. So you're really kind of damned if you did, damned if you didn't. And if you can't, if Moncada and Pito Abreu can't get the job done with runners at second and third in the bottom of the 10th inning with 1 out or less, I don't know. I mean, you got to like your chances there. The success rate after the bunt with those bats has to be well above 60-70% at that point. And Moncada just got sought, and the swings I didn't like. Both of them took swings like they were trying to hit grand slams, as opposed to just finding some outfield grass. They took some hacks. And I think we talked a little bit about the blown save. And then now we're talking about just how so many different things.
He still thinks that as a Cubs fan, he can't jinx the Sox.
I do believe that, but I also believe the baseball gods have decided that's not the case. So I also, they ruled.
You toyed with the gods, and that's what happened. But
we all need to learn new things. Even
one thing that I do want to get to though, I want to start it on a more positive note. Sorry about that, though, fellas. I had a pit bull that was crying, and I'm getting concrete work done. So if I don't walk him, he had to go.
Okay, you're good.
Anyways, first and foremost, if you're just joining us now and you're live with us, go to the 108 stream and subscribe and say in the comments, Pinwheel says hi. I just subscribed. Anyways,
before you do that, also make sure you smash our like button and give us a follow as well.
Subscribe. I don't really want to talk too much about the 2 wins at Wrigley.
My Sock Summer just took his shirt off though. Shit.
That doesn't really do anything for me. The wings at
Well, my
Wrigley
Sox
and
Summer taking his shirt off, or the two wins at
either
Wrigley?
one. The 2 wins at Wrigley, they were, they won 3-1, 4-3.
They were bad played games.
They weren't good. And it was terrible weather.
Yep.
I mean, the first game, even watching it on TV, you couldn't even like see the players because the weather was so bad. The series I really want to focus on is the Red Sox series. I feel like that was really good White Sox baseball. You know what I mean? Like you had Luis Robert hit an absolute piss missile over the Green Monster. You had, them manufacturing runs, playing well in tight situations. They won 4-2, 3-1, 3-2, so it wasn't any blowouts. I mean, it was a good baseball series against a franchise who is mind-boggling right now because there is so many like all-stars and so much talent on that Boston roster, and they just suck.
They suck. They can't score.
They suck.
Like obviously White Sox fans saw their. I mean, I still think the offense doesn't look that great, despite they've been scoring a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But the Red Sox offense, holy shit, those guys can't do anything.
No, it's just with the talent on that team. I mean, on Wednesday, Trevor Story hit his first home run of the season. I mean, that's crazy. And you know what? Shout out to Trevor Story. He went 0 for 4 against the White Sox. Fids, I know you're going to love this. He went 0 for 4 against the White Sox with 4 strikeouts. Terrible, worst possible game you can have. After the game, he threw on a pair of shorts and a T-shirt, grabbed his shit, and went right to the cage. Now, to me, and I'm assuming to you too, that's a sign of a guy that's just trying to get right. You know what I mean? Like he's a hell of a ball player, and he's trying to get right. He's underperforming, signed big paper. He's in a tough market in Boston. The next day, all the Boston beat writers and a lot of the blogs, Trevor Story dodges the press after a terrible game. They don't talk about his work ethic. They don't talk about him trying to get better. All they cared, all the headlines, everything. And the worst was that fucking turd Shaughnessy. And they all just wrote stories about how he is basically gutless and he dodged the media and like he's not worth the paper they gave him and all this shit. And I was just sitting there like, that's not even fair, dude. This guy's just trying to get better. And
isn't it weird how these nerd, non-athletic
Shaughnessy's always been terrible.
Turds, though. I'm just saying in general because you know who I feel the same way about freaking Voldemort. And so isn't it strange how these non-athletic, pencil-pushing, keyboard warrior journalists are more butthurt about not getting the access that they think they desire or deserve, while a dude goes and still isn't done with his work for the day? The dude's not done working. Imagine going up to the sports writer when they have a deadline and saying, can I borrow your laptop real quick? I'm going to go play some online World of Warcraft real quick. I know you got a deadline, but fuck off it. That's what basically they're saying to him. He has work to do. It's fresh. He knows his body. He knows what he's got to work on. It's immediate. It's time to go. And so fuck your fucking interview. Right, stick it right up your ass with the fungo sideways. He's got work to do. Let the dude work. Like if he's got to go hit in the cage, something is fresh in his mind that he knows he needs to work on right now. It takes precedence over your little bitch feelings as a little nerd sports writer. So
what did he do a couple of days later? He just hit his first home run.
Yep.
So he's obviously figuring something out.
Right.
And now all of a sudden the narrative is going to change. I'm with you on this one, Fitz.
Oh yeah, those guys just.
I know we disagreed about some other stuff earlier this week about fans and shit, but I'm with you on this one because
they're not entitled to shit.
And Shaughnessy has always been the worst. Shaughnessy has historically been the worst, and it's just he's brutal. But he's like the Skip Bayless of Boston beat writers. Like he just says like outrageous shit, and he gets the attention. So at the end of the day, when his contract comes up, they're like, "Look at all the hits this guy generated, or whatever," and they're just like, "Well, we got to keep him." Yeah, Yumper, I know you'll do it. Yumper. And Nathan, I know you'll do it too. Go to the goddamn 108 live feed and in the comment section, just say Pinwheel said hi. Please type it in the comment one time.
Tell him Zoe's gonna give him $50 to have my Slack Summer put his shirt back on.
Yeah. Yeah. Say Zoe 20. Hey, come on. We don't make 108 money. $20.
20. We have to save the 50 for the next Jordan Lazowski appearance.
But also, yeah, right. Jeez, and his fee's going up, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck. But also a really big thing for me though that stood out in that series was the pitching for the White Sox. Pitching for the White Sox is what's carrying this team right now. And
Yep.
the one game they do score 9 runs, Fid jinx them and they lose 12-9. So,
if they don't make the playoffs by one game,
yep, I'm coming to Vegas. I heard there's a lot of desert in Vegas with a lot of holes in it.
well, you can't use Lake Mead anymore. But there's dead bodies washing up.
Ooh,
That's not good.
that
Sorry.
got dark fast. But the pitching and the thing, and this is one of the other things that we talked about in our chat, and I kind of want to, because this is a good discussion, and I think we should have this on the show. But the White Sox bullpen has been very good, which everybody thought going in, but everybody thought the guys that would be very good would be the big money guys: Liam Hendricks, Graveman, Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly wasn't really big money, but the money was, that's where the money went in this offseason. You know, the only non-relief pitcher that they spent money on was Lurie Garcia, which is hilarious and still very sad. But so everyone, you thought the bullpen would be good, but the guys that are good in the bullpen right now, the guys that are really standing out is the homegrown guys they already had. It's like, can we stop and get McDonald's? And your mom says, no, we have McDonald's at home. It's the McDonald's at home that's hitting right now. The McDonald's at home is the one that's fire. It's Matt Foster. It's Bitches Love Sosa. It's, all these guys stepping up. And so a big gripe on White Sox Twitter was, this is why they were upset that they went out and spent all this money in the bullpen just for the homegrown guys that come in when you still have glaring holes at second base and right field. Go ahead, Fitz.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna say, you say McDonald's there, but we have McDonald's at home. It's not McDonald's at home, man. It's frozen patties. It's okay. It's going to taste good for a second, but let's be honest, dude. The big money guys by the end of the season are going to be doing what the big money guys do, and it's really fantastic.
And I hope so.
These homegrowns are getting it done right now when the big guns are actually struggling, because that is great for depth. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the young pups are shitty or anything, but I'm going to say this is the guys like the Joe Kellys, the Hendricks, the Graveman, those guys are going to actually start getting it done. Like, they're going to figure it out. And you're going to see these younger guys, as teams adjust and they get more tape, as they start seeing more and getting to see, they're going to have some struggles. And so it's great though, because they're taking advantage of the unknowns. These farm guys, these homegrowns have less tape, less, there's not less of a scouting report for them. So it makes them a little more effective right now until they're figured out. They're a secret weapon. It's great. And the other guys, the big dogs, they know what they have to do.
Sorry. Time out. I fucking love Yumper. Yumper paid $5 to say Pinwheel says hi in a boosted comment.
Oh, dear Lord.
On the fucking 108. I love you, Yumper. You are the homie. I love you. Are the man, dude.
Ignore what we said like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, ignore the bad things we said about you for being in there.
Anyways, no, I agree with you, Fitz. And it came out that Graveman, he's dealing with a little soreness and all this stuff. He's been good though when he's been used. But Graveman and Matt Foster have been used almost identically. Graveman has 15.1 innings pitched to Foster's 14.2. Graveman has a 1.76 ERA to Foster's 1.23. They're starting to use Foster and Ruiz. Ruiz's changeup too. Woo, homeboy found a pitch in these high leverage situations early, and I'm loving that, because when it starts to count, hopefully they do have these games that matter later in the season. It's really nice to have options. It's a very old cliche. It's nice to have options. It's nice to have options, but the White Sox are really setting this up, and it's amazing, and it's just something I really love to see. And that's not even touching on the starting pitching. Dylan Cease is just constantly getting disrespected.
Oh,
and who's been even better? Well, kind of. Michael Kopech.
Yes,
oh,
Kopech.
God, yeah.
Kopech leads the league in base running ERA.
Yeah,
Kopech is still the ninja though, and I call Kopech the ninja because he's doing all this and he's silent. No one talks about him. He doesn't do social media. I mean, Dylan Cease is goofy on social media. He posts him opening up baseball cards and playing frisbee golf and shit. But I'm loving it, dude. I mean, right now, Dylan Cease, 34 innings pitched. He has a 2.38 ERA with a 1.00 WHIP. He's a 1.5 WAR. He has a 12.4 K per nine. 12.4 K per nine. See, and he looks like a whole different pitcher up there. And I don't think people really understand how important it is for him to be getting this kind of confidence this early in the season. Like, this is a legit guy that needs this kind of boost. And the fact that he's getting it this early, this could legit be a Cy Young campaign. And the fact that he's not getting love from like MLB The Show, which I really got a bone picked with them about this. But like, the other thing that people were coming in was, oh, he's only doing, look who he's doing against. He's doing against the Tigers. He's doing against, you know what I mean? He's doing against slapdick team. I know Boston's offense is struggling, but Dylan Cease went into Fenway Park and threw another fucking gem. And now he's going to face the goddamn Yankees tomorrow night or on Thursday night. So it's just, I think Dylan Cease needs to start getting his cookies because he's been fucking phenomenal this year.
Absolutely. And you want to think about this too. Look at his walk rate. His walk rate he's down below 10% for his walks per nine, his walk percentage his ball percentage, excuse me. So he's only throwing a ball or a walk. He's walking maybe 9 out of 10, 9 out of 100 or 9 out of 100 guys. So I mean, he's doing much better. He's improved.
And that was the biggest thing. And he's eliminated that shit inning. He's always had that one shit inning, and that always ate away at him. But
you know what surprised me about Kopech too, and this is something I haven't heard anybody mention, and this is actually something that shocks me. But he has thrown how many innings now? 29 innings pitched. Guess what he hasn't done yet?
I cheated, but go ahead.
One.
You hate long balls. You hate this dead ball. He hasn't given up a home run yet this year.
And Cease has only given up one.
Yep. No long balls.
You know what the crazy thing about Kopech too is, like, he has all the great numbers, hasn't given up the home run, has the low ERA.
Sub 1 ERA.
In his last couple starts, and then we saw it a little with the Cubs at the end there. I don't even think, for the most part, I don't even think he's been as sharp as he has been before. So like we're talking about a guy. We're talking about a guy who's not even at 100% like getting his control down, his command down, and he is still out there shutting teams down.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's in his last start, he struggled mightily to find his control, and then all of a sudden, something clicked, and now he's throwing BBs again. And it's like, it's amazing watching him work. And he was so mad when he got pulled from the Cubs game. They showed him in the dugout. He was pissed. And I love that guy. He doesn't say a word. He's quiet as shit, carries himself with a very quiet confidence. And you can tell though, in that shit, he wants to win. He wants the ball, which, I mean, that's all you can ask from for your starters, that they want the ball.
That whole 6-game here was that was a pitching staff winning streak. Yes. The White Sox scored 5 runs in the top of the ninth or bottom of the ninth against the Angels on that Sunday. And then in that winning streak, I don't think the White Sox put up 5 runs once in that 6-game winning streak. I think it was 3-2, 4-3, 5-3, or 4-3, 4-1. I don't think they actually put up a 5 spot in any single game after putting up 5 in that half inning against the Angels, which I thought, and Stoney's talked about it too. That was kind of that turnaround moment where it's they kind of felt like they got right. They just kind of let go a little bit and just kind of got loose for a second, and then kind of at least loosened up for a little bit until I jinxed them.
Yep. Well, that and Hendricks put one on a tee. He just threw a cookie to Naylor, and Naylor did his job. And it was I wasn't a big fan of White Sox fans' reaction to Naylor going nuts in the dude just hit a grand slam, had an amazing scoop, and then hit a 3-run homer all in a 45-minute period to win a game. He single-handedly won that game. You got beat, dude. You got to be a good loser. You know what I mean? It's just, you got beat. And that play by Jose Ramirez was just
I saw.
Fans, by the way, same Fox fans that love when Tim Anderson throws his bat 85 feet into the air.
I was
having fun.
I was gonna say, I didn't really see all the negative reaction to it. I kind of just saw the reaction to that reaction, and I was like, oh, that's a little surprising because obviously we are talking about, a few guys.
I straight up hate Josh Naylor.
That's good emotion.
That's the thing though. You can have that. The other day, obviously you're gonna hate the other team. You're gonna be pissed off. And I think that's a completely normal reaction to be pissed off at the guy. But then like you can also recognize if like your guy did that, would you also hate it? And if your answer is yes, like fine, I think you're
No.
lying. But
See,
if you truly are like, oh, I like that was like I saw like it was disrespectful from Josh Naylor. Like what?
no,
I was like, if you have that thought, you just have to
can't do
like
that.
sit
You
back
just-
and be like,
yeah.
no, like you can have that thought, but you can be like, I'm a hater. Like you're just a
Yeah.
flat out hater because like come on.
So when I tweet out and when I say I hate Josh Naylor, it's because I hate Jose Ramirez. I hate Josh Naylor.
Yeah.
I hate White Sox killers, and Josh Naylor is now certified. Put the stamp on him. He's a White Sox killer.
Mhm.
He is. That's. I
Stamp
mean,
like
he's usually fucking cheeks. You know, he's not that great of a. I wouldn't say he's a top tier first baseman by
This
any
is like
stretch
his
of the word.
first good season.
But it started last year. He just shows up against the White Sox, and that's just White Sox and Cubs fans. There's just guys on your rivals that are like that. You know, AJ Przinsky was that guy until the White Sox signed him.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody likes to go back to that, like, oh, he's an AJ Przinsky type where you fucking hate him until he's on your team. You know, AJ has now become the poster boy for that. And I guarantee if the White Sox, I mean, they don't need another first baseman DH type, but if Josh Naylor ended up on the White Sox midseason at the trade deadline, everybody, oh, he's fiery. I like him.
Oh,
You know what I'm
he's
saying?
going to replace Abreu next offseason.
Yeah, no, we got about 6 guys
Look,
for that.
you have a problem with that if it's a 10-4 game and it's that home run makes it 10-6,
Mhm.
absolutely. But that was historic. It was historic.
It was historic.
Like if he does that in
You could do that. That's positive.
to make it a 10-6 game, I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be like, "What are you doing, you clown?"
Yep.
Like, I wouldn't even be mad at that either. I would be like, "Okay."
Yeah.
At least from my experience as a coach, because again, I've been a part of games where I've been on both ends of like weird shit like that. I've been a part of a game where we played our rival. It was a big game to get in, you know, it was to take over for a playoff spot, and we went 9 or 10 innings, and the score was 1-1. We both scored in the first. Neither team scored, 1-1, and then it got dark, so we had to can the game, tied 1-1. Had to make it up, and then when it became, you know, like it was like a couple weeks later, we ended up having to make up the game. So basically, we had to go to this school when we played again. We basically said we're just going to play it at your place.
Mm-hmm.
We had to play the 1 inning game and see who can win that extra inning game, and then we had another game after that. So we go all the way over there, and the wind changed. It was blowing out like 40 miles an hour. So what did we do in our top half of the inning? We hit like 4 home runs. We scored 9 runs in that top half inning. We're like, oh, we got this shit. Bottom half of the inning, I'll just put it this way. The game ended with the winning run at third, or the tying run at third, the winning run at second. Bases loaded. And we ended up winning by 1. Why? Because shit gets weird. And you can see that when that shit happens, all you could do as a coach is just shake your head. Because sometimes the momentum and the avalanche, you know, like a snowflake's easy to stop. A snowball's easy to stop. But an avalanche, when it happens, you're just like, son of a bitch. What am I going to do?
I mean, at the end of the day, dude, that's why we all love this game. Because shit like that can happen, dude. And sometimes it goes for it. Like, I think Burr said it after the game. Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
Yep.
You know, and the White Sox were the bug that time.
I think I brought it up briefly with when you were away for a little bit. So like, I do get that, but like the way it happened though, because like it's not like I compared it to like when the Cubs scored like 21 runs against the Pirates, and it's like because like balls were just like finding holes like in the outfield and like through the infield. Like there was the errors which the White Sox have had a bad defense all year long.
I was actually gonna let you finish, but we're gonna talk about that next.
And then the other thing, I know you want the positive way with the pitching, which you should, because the White Sox pitching staff is carrying the team like throughout all their winning streaks. It's been because of the pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we talked about it a few weeks ago, and like, you know, after the first week, the struggles of like Hendricks, and we're like, well, if we're gonna give excuses to the starting pitchers for the shortened spring training and some of the hitters, well, you know, we should be able to give some of the relievers some leeway. But now we're like a month in now. Hendricks is still giving up. I know he had that. I mean, he had 6 saves in a row. But at what point are you just like, hey man, stop giving up home run after home run, because he can't throw his slider right now. They're sitting on his fastball.
And he's throwing the fastball. He can't throw the fastball out of the strike zone.
Yeah.
Can we also put to bed the rest of this bullshit that we've seen a little bit lately of teams that are up 6 or 7 in the 7th inning, like calling off the fucking dogs?
Oh yeah, our buddy Herb Lawrence went off about that, dude. Go check him out on CHGO. Herb went off about that, and I couldn't hit like and share quick enough because
look, here's the rule: they pull their starters, like I'm saying, like down to bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. We'll call it off until you pull your starters, until you pull your best. Fuck off. We're gonna run this thing up until you're done.
Perfect example. Angels just dog walking the Rays the other night. Rays are starting to put in position players. What do the Angels do? Mike Trout hits a bomb. Anthony Rendon bats lefty. First time in his career, hits a bomb. That was beautiful, by the way. That was fucking cool. But
Javi's almost done that a few times. Javi almost did that a few times.
The only teams that complain about the things are like bad teams.
Yeah.
Like this year was the Nationals. Nationals are a bad team. That whole San Diego Padres when who was it? Tatis hit the grand slam on a 3-0 pitch or whatever. It was against the Rangers like in 2020.
Bad
a shitty team. Yeah.
Bad team. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I want to answer this one question from the sexiest mailman in Chicago, Jack. He said, "Are they going to skip Cheeks against the Yankees?" Unfortunately, no. So the reason why this is even a question, for those of you that don't know, apparently the Guardians had a little bit of a COVID outbreak in their locker room. So the game Wednesday was postponed, which I really hope everybody's okay in that aspect. And I've tweeted that out, and I shouldn't have done that because I got replies that made me worry about people's mental health. So you would think, all the starters got pushed back. So they announced, though, it's going to be, I think it goes Cease on Thursday, Vinny Velo on Friday, Cheeks McCheekerton on Saturday.
Did he even get like a first name back after his Boston game?
No, and you know why? Because he cost me a shit ton of money. Because I put a lot of money against him, and then he showed up. So I think I might just have to start betting against Cheeks for him to show up every week.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think like Hendricks was in the locker room drinking Dr. Peppers or something like that when they're like, "Hey, bud, you actually got to work tonight"?
Oh,
Jack points this out. I'm like, he wrote, Hendricks has to think his night was over on Monday. Then they warmed him back up again, and he stunk. I'm like, what if he was in the clubhouse? Like, what if he like, oh, my day's over. I'm gonna pop an edible. Fuck it, let's go home. We're going home.
No, he was in the bullpen.
They warmed him up, sat him down, warmed him up again. And I mean, I know that kind of messes with someone's head a little bit, but still no excuse for throwing 96 down the fucking poop chute.
Yeah, Cease, Velasquez, Cheeks, and Kopech.
Yeah, Cease, Velasquez, Cheeks, and then Kopech. Really, 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 really wanted the Cease Cole matchup on Friday. I think that would have been really dope. And you know me, I love home runs. I love offense, but every once in a while, if you can get an ace versus an ace on a primetime game like Friday night, that's just,
But speaking of primetime, are any of these games on national TV?
Let's check it out.
Because if they are, I'm betting the over.
I saw Johnny Jim Shoes change his profile picture. I thought I was going to get a little glimpse as to who that is.
Right now he's got the high school Gmail, just the letter J. That's all our guys have that letter.
No, although nothing on national TV.
All right, betting the unders now.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. I kind of really wanted the Cease, but little insider info. Your boy, there's a 95% chance I'm at the game on Thursday. So I'll get to see Dylan against the Yankees in person.
Reputation games though, because Dylan Cease has been fantastic this year.
And so have the Yankees though. I mean, this is no last place Red Sox. This Yankee team.
You're playing with fires though.
Reputation game. There is not too many players in Major League Baseball hotter than Aaron Judge right now. Mm-hmm. Aaron Judge is just a machine right now, and I mean, this is a big game for Dylan. So shout out to friend of the show, Aloha, Mr. Hand. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to make it work on Thursday. Nice. So I'll be out in the 108, probably giving noogies for going on Wednesday, but maybe a couple of titty twisters.
Speaking of friends of the show, by the way, I'm just going to throw this in here and then I'll just leave it again. But friend of the show, Chasen Shreve, right now with the Mets, who we thought he almost signed with the White Sox. The Cubs were the last runner-up until the Mets jumped in the last. But the Cubs were the finalists. Mets came in at the last minute, got it. He is now sitting at 1-0 with a 1.54 ERA, 10 games, 11 and 2/3 innings pitched, 17 strikeouts. His WHIP is .68.
Whip.
So
Whip.
the Pinwheels and Ivy bump. If you're a friend of the show and you're
Oh,
pitching
yeah. Let's do that.
there's a good chance that you're going to be a very successful player.
So let's get into this week's Pinwheel and Ivy bump.
Okay.
Because I want to do strategery. Before we do that, though, I do want to encourage everybody listening, watching. Make sure you go to sportsmockery.com, one of the sponsors of the show, and subscribe to the daily newsletter. It's everything, all things Chicago sports delivered right to your inbox every day. Literally, it's just a complete summary for busy individuals that just want to basically cliff notes on what's going on it's a daily. So make sure you subscribe to that newsletter. So for those of you new to the show, we call this the Pinwheels bump. Now, for a while, we would talk about a player and he would play good after we talked about him, but it's kind of morphed into we talk about a player and he does the opposite. So what we're going to try to do now is talk about guys that have been playing shitty and talk about how shitty they are so that they go off. And for me, for the White Sox, I want to talk about Josh Harrison. It hasn't been good, folks. I think he's a great dude. I've said that multiple times on the show. I've been told by a lot of people close to the team, people, around the clubhouse and stuff, that guys love him in the locker room, which is great. You need those guys, but he has 57 at-bats right now. He's batting 158 with the slash line of 238, 281, 519. He has no home runs, a triple, and then 5 doubles. So his 9 hits, actually, when he does hit, he gets an extra base hit, basically. But yeah,
It's just that he just said he doesn't hit.
He just doesn't hit. And he's gotten hurt, so he gets a little whatever. But like the fielding hasn't been consistent. I don't feel confident now that Yoan's back. Though we don't have to see him at third base anymore. But he's just been bad. He's been bad. The second base position is still a large hole in this lineup. I hate having automatic outs in the lineup. I know it's a thing, but the second base is just because you have Harrison batting 158, you have Lurie Garcia batting 186, and then Danny Mendick batting a whopping 217. That's your leader in the clubhouse right now.
Brutal.
It's not good, folks. And we've mentioned it on the show. I'm not going to get into it too much because we've already talked about it at length, but I just want to point out that Yolbert Sanchez continues to absolutely rake in AAA. And he's not going to be a fan favorite because he doesn't hit home runs, but gets on base.
He hit apparently. Yeah.
He hits. And so, Josh Harrison is my Pinwheels bump this week because, it's fucking brutal.
So let's say the Pinwheels bump doesn't work. How much longer until you think Han's gotta bite this one and let him go?
The White Sox, by all intents and purposes, should be a serious team. Serious about contending, serious about winning their division, which is no longer a given, serious about a lot of things. And to me, to show that you're a serious team is putting your best 9 out there. And right now, the best 9 includes Yolbert Sanchez, from what I can see in AAA. I mean, very much could be the case. He comes up and it's too much for him, or he doesn't adjust or whatever. But from, talking to our friend Jonathan Nelson, the GM of the Barons, talking to, James Fox, Future Sox, all these guys, everybody says he's ready. People that are very smart that do this for a living say he's ready.
I mean, he can't be any worse. These are some awful numbers from those 3 guys.
We have literally gotten to the part of the program where it's, what are the expectations? It can't be worse.
Obviously, Lurie Garcia isn't going anywhere because he's you're just always going to be there. He's always going to be there.
Lurie's been hitting the ball hard lately, though. Lurie has been hitting the ball hard.
That's the thing. Again, we've said it numerous times over the past like since the White Sox, in 2020 when they're like, yes, they're ready to compete now. You need guys like Larry Garcia.
Yep.
Like he's fine. He's a fine utility guy. It's just
he's a Zobrist kind of thing. He's just a different kind
let's
of.
not disrespect a good player.
A World Series team, a
No,
World
come on,
Series
Kevin.
team, a World Series team has a Larry Garcia on their bench for a utility spot.
Larry Garcia
Swiss
is
Army
Chris
knife.
Coughlin.
Yep.
Larry Garcia is
He
Chris Coughlin.
There you go. That's better. A Swiss Army knife is what you need.
Yep.
You need
A
someone that can
World
just-
Series team does not have a Larry Garcia starting.
no, but they do
Chris
have him on the
Coughlin
bench,
did
ready to
start,
go
I
when you
think,
need
game
him
1 in
in the late innings.
2016 for the Cubs.
I will die on that hill because it's absolutely right. So that is my pinwheels bump. I guess it's not even Josh Harrison specifically. It's just second base for the White Sox.
Just anyone
base
do
for White.
something.
It is in Cheeksville. Cheeky McChickerton is the mayor, but the second base position has established permanent residency.
And I think when we talked about it in the offseason too, it's like it hurts more because you do have it's a mixture of the injuries to like Eloy, at least Robert for like a little bit,
Moncada.
Andrew Vaughn for a little bit, Moncada not being up until May.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's that, and then the other guys still haven't gotten it going, so the offense has been struggling for the entire time. And it's like before you're like, hey, if we get 7, 8 of the guys being solid, yeah, you can take one guy who's below average. But like now, it's like only half of our lineup is kind of good. We need as many good hitters as we can, and you're getting. It's not you're not even getting like a 0. You're getting below replacement play at a key position there.
Yep. So give me a pinwheels bump for a Cubs player.
I have to
Their
say, why
health
don't why don't we just ride the same train as Zoe? Why don't we just completely do that reverse bump for the second base spot for both teams?
Yeah.
Magical's on the DL, VR's 0 for 4 last night or today, so nobody's hitting at the second base spot really for either Chicago team. So let's go ahead and flip that one out there. And
so
second
the
base.
pinwheels bump is just for second base in the
Second
state of Chicago.
base.
whoever is there, God bless them.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of unfortunate middle infield injuries, though, what happened to my boy Nico, man?
Fucking umpire, get out of the way.
So he just just paint the picture, man. I didn't see the play.
So there was a line drive fly ball hit to straightaway center. Jason Hayward goes back. Nico Horner at shortstop in the shift. I think he's going out there to get ready for the relay throw. But that's the other thing there was no camera angle. Like neither the Padres nor the Cubs broadcast had like exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But he just ran into the umpire, tripped, sprained his ankle. He stayed in the game at first.
Yeah.
He tested it out in the infield. He was running back and forth. He took an at bat, struck out, didn't look comfortable, and then heading into like that next inning, he didn't come back out. And after the game, they're like,
I saw they said they had to wait for the swelling because there was so much swelling. They needed to wait for the swelling to go down.
Not great.
Before they can take pictures of it. Yeah, you never want to hear that. But so I saw Simmons is on his rehab assignment. But with Nico,
that's the thing. It's gotten so bad. 'Cause most Cubs fans' reaction back when he was signed, it's like why the fuck are they getting this guy? Right now with the injuries, it's like, please get back here because I at least need someone competent to play defense. Because there is an inning in Wednesday's game. I think it was the 7th or 8th inning. There was poor Scott Efros. That guy's been fucking phenomenal since he's come up for the Cubs last year. He's a guy who started for White Sox fans listening. He started that first game against the White Sox on Tuesday last week at Wrigley. He strikes people out. He just gives up soft contact. But there's like 4 balls that were just misplayed by the infield in that one inning. It's like, oh my God. Right now, the Cubs have Ildemaro Vargas, Jonathan VR as their middle infield. Not great.
No.
Those are guys that should actually probably be pinch runners.
And that's the thing. I was like
place fillers on the farm.
I was all right with Jonathan VR has been a veteran player. He's been fine. I thought we talked about it in after the first week. I thought he was going to be getting playing time over Patrick Wisdom. Jonathan VR has been terrible defensively.
Yes, he has been brutal in the field. And I guess maybe that's the second pinwheels bump we need to do is just defense in Chicago. Because the Gavin Sheets play went from that's embarrassing to then it got national attention because the broadcaster said you got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
And then I felt So for those of you who didn't see it, Sheets had a very routine fly ball hit to him. Like it doesn't get more routine than it did. He was going to catch it chest high, and he just closed his mitt too fast, and it
Yeah.
hit the outside of his glove, fell. Cleveland scored on the play, went up 1-0. I tweeted right then and there, Sheets better put one on the Dan Ryan. He comes up to bat the next at bat, 2 runners on, hits a bomb. So it seems like Sheets is finding his groove at the plate, which is huge for this offense to get that lefty bump, the power bat back, and you can DH him. He needs to stop playing the outfield. He needs to stop playing he's worse than Vaughn in the outfield, and that's saying something.
That's a good competition between them. It sure is.
That's saying something. He just, that was so bad. And Tim's defense has been real bad too.
Real bad.
mean, let's call it what it is. But he's another guy that's making up for it with the stick. But the defense has been real bad, and it's a lot of routine shit. It's very frustrating. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thoroughly enjoy what Tim's doing at the plate, hitting 347, slashing 377, 535, 912 OPS. Right now he's almost full one more, but he's doing what he does, man, and it's a beautiful fucking thing when he's taking pitches to the opposite field.
Can I?
Oh, no. He's
Can I say this?
fantastic.
It's probably gonna piss some people off. I have to say this just because as a coach, when you look at things and you're trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with what is this regression? Where's this regression coming from?
Mhm.
And in Tim Anderson's case, defensively, when you see someone that has now shown that they can play the field and play their defensive spot well, as he has in the last 2 seasons, when he was already previous to those seasons the knock was his defense, so he put in the time. You see someone regress like that, your number one concern is, did they really put in the time in the offseason on that specific particular skill set?
And we'll never know.
And that's a really hard thing to ask. It also, you take into consideration, we have a spring that's shortened. He's not getting the typical reps. And so he's getting through this. Now, even if he put in and he was just like, I'm working on hitting the ball the other way, F defense, I don't care. Sooner or later, the daily reps that he's getting every day as a Major League Baseball player are going to start catching him back up. His defense is going to – this is the worst you'll see his defense all year.
I agree. And I do want to –
the reason is it's going to only get better.
And I do want to comment on this. Wayne commented, Pollock in left field, Robert in center field, Engel in right field. There's some killer outfield defense. It is. That is a very good defense set. The problem is Engel cannot hit right-hand pitching. That's the problem. That's why you can't do that every day. He is just booty against right-handers.
Booty.
Like, obviously, I mean, the best case scenario, again, we are month into the season. When things get rolling for the Sox, you would hope that you don't have to worry about Adam Engel or even Gavin Sheets sometimes. Because you would hope that Eloy's back healthy, Pollock's still hitting, and then and that's the thing. Andrew Vaughn comes back, and hopefully he's still hitting. So you figure out the problem between Andrew Vaughn, Pollock, and Sheets, like those 3 guys. Like at that point, you don't want to worry about Adam Engel. But I guess in the meantime,
and he's been a great defensive replacement late in games. Like I get the strategy behind all that, but it's hard to justify starting Engel in the outfield when you're going up against a righty because the splits are that bad.
By the way, going back to the defense with Tim Anderson, I was looking up the outs above average, the Baseball Savant, basically their big defensive metric. He's at -4 right now. 29th out of 35.
It's bad. It's bad. He needs to get out of his own head. I weirdly think that having Yohan Moncada back on his right side is going to help. I feel like he's not going to feel. I mean, it was funny. Yohan Moncada's first play back in the big leagues, it was a slow dribbler right towards Tim, but he was playing back, and Yohan came across the field and made a beautiful play and got the out. And if you look and rewatch that play, look at Tim Anderson's face. Jake Berger ain't making that play. I love Jake Berger. He's not making that play. You know what I mean? And that's just Josh Harrison's not making that play.
Yeah, there has to be like some sort of a comfort there, like knowing a guy who's there who will make more plays than other guys that are there. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not bailing on Tim by any means. And
he is a negative 1.8 defensive WAR right now.
and again, the hitting's there. It's just to your point, Fids, and although it's just the defense, just it's bad.
Which I think also makes it like he's not, because you know how they always say like, oh, if a guy isn't hitting, like he doesn't, you would hope that he doesn't take it out to the field with him. Like, but like you never hear it the other way around. It's like if a guy's playing poor defense, they're like, oh, but like he doesn't take it out to like at bats with him. It's like at least he still is hitting 347. He's still doing what he's been doing since 2019.
That's a mindset too. I mean, it's not a great mindset, by the way, but it is a mindset that we actually talk about. We've talked about, not as coaches, we've talked about the kid that takes his at bat out to shortstop or to the defensive side of the field, but can clank 4 baseballs and have no problem focus. You know where their focus is. That's a future DH. Sometimes we always joke, we're like, that kid doesn't give 2 shits about his defense. He doesn't care. I clank 5 balls. I just let me go hit, and that's fine. Like Anderson's -4 defensive run saves too. That's not great, but again, he's going to get better. And he swings it so well, man. He just does. He's a hard out, and he bucks the trend. He's like the guy. He's the anti bat bit. Like he is just the guy that goes out there and says, I know there's not a lot of my type of hitters in the league right now, but I'm going to be the best of me. And there aren't guys that do what Tim Anderson does. You know, Tim Anderson is valuable on a million different ways at the plate, whether it's with his speed or whether his contact and how he can get into a baseball. But he's the straw, man. He goes, you go. I mean, so it's good to see that he's, you know, defensively. You'd like to see it locked up, and it will. But God, you take that offense all day long.
Yeah, I mean, that's the trade-off. It's just.
On the other hand, the Cubs only have 4 players that are actually over 100 with WRC plus in their entire roster. So that's great.
Read them off. So who is it? It's like what? Seiya, Happ,
It's
Contreras,
Rivas, Suzuki, and Happ.
Hell yeah.
So wait, can you guys time
He's
out?
at 98, so he's close.
Time out. I need you guys to explain something to me. So I come on this show every week, and I obviously follow you guys on Twitter account, and you guys like Rivas, right? Like you guys are pro Rivas. Then why do the other Cubs accounts that there isn't many that I follow like shit on him constantly?
Where?
Like I see like Rivas is playing first base. Let's start right there. That's the problem. Like stuff like I think Carl's big against Rivas, and there's some other Cubs accounts that are just it's just
Carl.
I'll be honest, I have not seen that at all.
I've seen it a little bit, and you know, Carl's got the show now with Jake Arrieta, and
I mean, So bigger picture, it's a problem because like it's the same thing as like because the alternative is Frank Schwindel starting at first base.
There's your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the hard part. See, is I think we're talking about the Cubs right now. We're like in that 2017, 2018 White Sox period, where most of the stuff that's happening right now, most of the conversations, most of the players that we talk about, just kind of don't matter. I had a little back and forth with Kevin and Yumper talking about Patrick Wisdom, and I'm like, he's fine, and like, yeah, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, like it doesn't. Like Frank Schwindel, he's a lovable guy. Why? Because he's like the man of the people. You know, he goes out after games, he drinks, goofy looking guy, dorky attitude, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I hope he does well, because like, hey, yeah, like it's like you have this. I mean, I don't really have it. I kind of view all these guys on the same plane for the most part. But if he's good or not, it's most likely not going to matter, because it's just not going to matter.
But the problem
it's like we're talking about Matt Davidson right now. So.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
And the thing is, the problem is too, and this is where we've talked about it, I don't know, ad nauseum on this show going into the season, and so you've heard us say it a million times. If you're a team that's relying and believing guys like Frank Schwindel and Patrick Wisdom are going to be all-stars and they're going to be your dudes, which the media, especially in the Cubs, played up this whole like savior thing that these guys are going to be like freak show good. And these poor guys, they're 29-year-old rookies for a freaking reason. They are like they made epic heroes out of average Joes. These are average to below average major league players that can play on bad teams as a starter or be very good bench guys for winning teams. And you look at Schwindel, the guy's a professional hitter. There's no reason why that guy should have been like a dude. I know he's a professional hitter, which means he's a great off the bench guy, a good pinch hitter. And Wisdom is a great spot starter. You know, Wisdom is Bodie. Bodie is Wisdom. But Wisdom is just Bodie with a little bit more homer. That's it. They're the same guys. They have big moments. But here's Patrick Wisdom. He shows up today. He gets an RBI today. Finally, we will not see Patrick Wisdom until like 4 days from now. He's 5 for his last 30 or whatever with like 17 strikeouts. He shows up one day, has a great game, and Cub fans, he's back, and then he disappears for 4 days, and then he has a good game. He's back. I mean, honestly, if he's back was a drinking game or like a lotto game, we'd make a ton of money because Cub fans will be saying he's back at least 60 times this season because that's he's a 230 hitter. That's what he is.
This goes back to like the like that. I mean, we're being sarcastic. We don't actually think whenever I say the Cubs are back, I'm not.
No, you. But not Justin Roman. No, but Justin Roman texts me every time that Patrick Wisdom has a multi-hit game or hits a double, I get a Justin Roman text every time. And then I don't hear from Justin for like 5 days.
Patrick Wisdom is his guy.
Well, no, he thinks that Tom Ricketts offered KB a contract still. So,
but that's the thing. That's like that. Oh, the other part of that is like, yeah, Patrick was like he's inconsistent. Like at least for Frank Schwindel, the replacement is a better player at this point in Alfonso Rivas. So at least the Cubs have that. For Patrick Wisdom, the alternative is Jonathan VR, who's like he's unplayable on the field for. I don't know what the hell happened to that guy. He just can't field the ball this year.
He's on the 17th hole of his career though. Like he's not even the back nine. He's
But it's not even Patrick Wisdom's fault though. It was just the fact that they bumped these guys up with this image of. We did it. We got a contender, and then they went 2 or 3 from the Brewers. Yeah. And then it was all Ricketts. It was all, they made two offseason acquisitions, Seiya and Stroman, and everything else was dog shit. And they blew it up and they made it, again, that's the problem that I have with this. If the Cubs would have been honest with all this, I can handle Patrick Wisdom as a stopgap, but to try and don't treat us like we're fucking stupid. He's not an all-star. Okay, he's not. I mean, he had again. If you saw the last third of the season last year, once the league had tape on him, you saw Patrick Wisdom. He's a guy that might set the Major League Baseball strikeout record in a single season. That's possible. He's a guy that's on pace to drive in 70 runs. That's not someone that you say is a superstar. And they, unfortunately for those guys, him and Schwindel, they were punched into this role because of the way that it was covered. And Frank Schwindel can't be a bust. The guy was a DFA or a waiver wire pickup because the Oakland A's sent him down to AAA. How is a guy that you get off the waiver wire a bust in any way, shape, or form? He's not. The expectations were so lifted because he had a pretty good end of the season last year. It was unfair. The poor guy didn't do anything. He's a funny dude. He's awesome. He's a bench guy that everyone loves to have on the bench.
And I agree with that. And I think that's a big problem is that people like he caught a heater and people think he's going to be a superstar. You got to remember the guy's journey to get here.
It's, Sox are gonna find this it's like Schwindel's like kind of like Daniel Polka in like in a way.
I hope not. I mean, Danny's a great guy, but
Aloha's been comparing Wisdom to Polka actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I think like with the power and the strikeouts, yeah. But I mean, but that's the thing. Like Patrick Wisdom is like fantastic at third base. He at least has that. Frank Schwindel plays like below average defense at first, and. Right now, can't really hit.
Here's a very good question, and this is coming from a Sox fan who I know just loves the game of baseball. Our guy Nathan, he asks, "So K-Fids, other than the lies, are the Cubs on the right path to being competitive again?"
And that's I think so. I think the fact that the problem that we have, I think all of us can agree, is that we were lied to that this wasn't a rebuild. And if you look, Jed hasn't said rebuild. Tom will not say rebuild. If we played a drinking game on Sunday night during the ESPN broadcast, every time the broadcast said the word rebuild, the Cubs are rebuilding, I'd have gone through 2 bottles of Malort minimum if I did a shot every time they said that. And so it's a rebuild. Had they have said it from the start, I think the Cubs are well on their way to a nice rebuild. But the problem that I have is fans don't understand that prospects are always still freaking prospects until they show that they're pros. These are all just wishes in a bottle right now. And we're seeing with Owen Casey. Owen Casey was ridiculous last year at South Bend. He just hit his first home run yesterday. Where's he at? Double Beach.
I think he's at Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach.
Or low A ball.
So, and that's a guy that everyone's like last year was like, dude, freaking stud. Canario. I think Canario just got pulled up to Double A too now, finally. We're going to see these guys that were raking at Single A. Now we know what Double A is, right? And now we're going to see who they really are. And, that's the thing with prospects, though. I don't think we know, and Aldo agrees, I think that this should not have had to be this. It should have been a blow up rebuild. It should have, you could have kept KB and Rizzo, could have even kept Javi. And this team is still competitive right now while these guys are still developing. And the Cubs still probably would be under the salary cap easily. And that's what, but to say that we're on the right path, I'd say that it looks like they're on the right path, but not a single one of these, Brendan Davis, the prospect right now for the Cubs, is playing like shit at AAA.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
Bad and injured. Yeah.
And now Ed Howard just got hurt yesterday. Ed Howard's going to go on the IL. There's no guarantees with prospects. They knew what they had with Chris, with Javi, with Rizzo, with Schwarber. They knew what they had, and you don't know what you're going to get with these guys as they develop into pros. They could hit, but let's be honest, 5% of prospects maybe hit. So,
and also
is dangerous.
To tie the White Sox into this, everything Fitz just said, you're over here on my screen. Everything Fitz just said goes for Yolbert Sanchez. Like, I love what he's doing in AAA, but he's a prospect until he proves not to be a prospect.
I also think
very much keep that in mind.
I also think that the Cubs, at least, like that's the thing. Are they on the right path? Like you said, we never know about prospects until like they get to the show, and we'll see what they can do or can't. If you just look purely as like the talent that they have in their farm system, I can say they're on the right path because they have some guys who look like some studs right now. Like Caleb Killian is going to come up in the second half. I think he's going to be very good. Alexander Canaria, who's also in that KB trade with San Francisco, he's been raking, and then he got promoted recently to AA. I think he had he went 2 for 3 tonight, or the first 3 at bats had 2 hits at AA. That guy that they got from the Yankees for Anthony Rizzo, he's like a 19-year-old outfielder who's like 6 foot whatever. He still has to grow into that body, get some muscle on those bones. But
Pete Crow Armstrong
he looks. Pete Crow Armstrong is looking like the best positional prospect since like KB, in terms of just the hype.
That was the steal. That was the steal of the fire sale right there to me.
Cubs got him from the Mets for Baez. The pitching, there's pitching up and down. That's the thing. They're just there's a few guys who are they're going to contribute this year. Because by the trade deadline, half the pitchers that we're seeing right now, they're going to be on other teams or just not with the Cubs anymore. So we are going to start to see some of the influx from AAA and maybe a guy or two from AA. Or who's in AA right now, who gets to AAA, and then later in the year.
I saw a good tweet, actually, not to totally interrupt you, but I saw a good tweet where it said you should expect these placeholder guys that they've had that they signed going into AAA at the beginning of the season. Those guys should start making their way up to the team now with all this stuff going on. That means the younger prospects are going to start getting more call-ups, which means by mid-season, late season, you're going to start seeing some of those top fringe prospects making their debuts with the team as well as it goes on. Because again, trade deadline's coming. I'm sorry, it's going to happen. This team they're going to burn this team down sooner or later. They're going to.
Seems like there's a lot of questions in the comments about call-ups, like Christopher Morel.
So Nelson. Christopher Morel right now if Nico Horner goes on the IL, which I hope not, but I'd rather play it cautious because again, who the fuck cares about this? They're not winning. If he goes on the IL, I hope they bring up Christopher Morel because even if he doesn't hit, at least he can play solid defense up the middle. Because again, right now the Cubs have Jonathan Villar and Ildemaro Vargas as their starting infield if there's no call-ups right now. And Morel is another one of those Rivas types where he's 26, mid-20s, but at least give those guys some time. It's not another Wisdom or a Schwindel or an Ortega guy.
Well, a Morel
a little younger, so give him some time.
With what's his name getting called up? Morel just got called up to AAA. He's got barely any at bats up there, so I don't think you're going to see him. That was probably the byproduct of Madrigal getting hurt. I thought Morel he just got called up. I believe it was he only had 4 or 5 at bats if I'm not looking at this thing right, unless I'm looking at the wrong stats, but. He had only been up for a second with AAA, so you can't pull him up immediately and bring him up, so that's why they were stuck bringing up Vargas or whatever. So you got to do what you got to do, but they're guys that are on the fringe. when you look at the numbers that the Iowa Cubs have right now, they've got.
It's not good. That's the thing. It's not good, Kevin, because any of the guys that we want to see besides Brennan Davis and Caleb Killian
aren't even close
at AAA are in AA or in single A right now.
Your best guy right now at AAA this year so far has been Vargas. He's got 29 hits. You got you got PJ Higgins, a catcher who's hitting 377.
Robel Garcia probably. He's doing
Robel's hitting 292. Nelson Maldonado's hitting. We have 2 catchers actually at AAA that are hitting 350 or above. That's interesting. So maybe Willie is.
Well, I was gonna ask Zoe if you're looking for another DH/catcher. Willson Contreras.
Probably not. They won't pay him. They won't pay him.
You don't want Willson?
I mean, Reese McGuire has been a good defensive backup. He's been kind of cheeks at the plate, but
Yasmani going into his last year of his deal.
yeah, Yasmani's starting to find it a little bit. He's hitting the ball a little harder. He got that OPS up to 517 now, but he needs.
So are they basically just being like, we're saving him so he's strong in October? Yasmani,
which is a fine like strategy if the rest of the team was clicking, but like they're in 3rd place in their division right now. They need to be playing their best players every day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, so I did want to get back to the Cubs. I just said, like, most of these players kind of just don't matter, but like that's why the Nick Madrigal struggles / the injury sucks so much more, because he is one of the guys who is supposed to matter. He's just been bad, lost, just overmatched at the plate. I saw a story where like he's not getting attacked any differently, so it's not like he's seeing new stuff from pitchers. It's not like, oh, they're throwing him more breaking balls here, they're busting him up with fastballs there, they're doing something like they're throwing him the same types of pitches in the same counts, and he's just not hitting. And then he went on the injury list with was it a lower back soreness or strain?
Yeah, and
at least I do have one positive. His defense, like defending, at least like his range, he's been getting to a lot more balls that maybe before he wasn't. I think he's been playing very solid defense. There's some throws that he just can't make. Like there's some double plays that he can't turn. But hey, if he can be consistent, otherwise, fine. But man, it's been rough out there.
Yeah, and yeah, Reese is doing a great job of saving Grandal's knees. I mean, that's fine, but you don't have the cushion you thought you'd have. Like this division is not the White Sox anymore. Like I'm
telling you, this is playing out exactly like 2017 Cubs.
Nelson Maldonado is having a nice little run.
Yes, Nelson Maldonado is another guy at AAA who he got recently promoted there, I think.
Yeah,
and he's been
465 at AA, and then they brought him up, and he's hitting like 3 something at AAA now.
Yeah, and I think his position is what is it? Yeah, that's the thing. Which is you have like guys like, I mean, that's the thing, because like I just mentioned Madrigal. So Madrigal matters. Nico Horner matters. Contreras matters just because like if he keeps like being one of the best hitters in baseball, like you're gonna get a big return from him, you'd think, at the trade deadline, because that's basically the only thing the Cubs are gonna do with him. Because a reminder for Cubs fans listening, the Cubs have not had any extension talks with Willson Contreras. Like it seems like ever. Like they've never just anything with him at all. So I think the writing's on the wall there with him, unfortunately. Who else matters? Ian Happ still under control.
Yeah.
Maybe one way or another, either extension or at the trade deadline with him. So you still want to see how he plays, and he's been fantastic in left field defensively and at the plate. Seiya Suzuki, obviously he's going through that slump, but he seemed to, in San Diego, he had a nice couple games hitting the ball hard. And then he's another guy, Zoe, hurt his ankle running to first base. So it
seems to be the killer this year.
Yeah, he left the game there. He was in the lineup the next day to DH, but was scratched. And then he pinch hit, singled, and then got pinch run for, and then wasn't in the lineup on Wednesday. So that sucks. Right now the Cubs combination is just the guys who you want to see are hurt, or everyone else is just bad.
Hey, don't look now too. Bryce Ball, who the Cubs got in the trade for Jock Peterson at AA,
breakout year,
already has 10 doubles. Got 10 doubles, 1 triple, and 4 homers so far in 27 games. That's not too shabby. He's hitting almost 300, a little bit below 296.
So
he was a guy that I thought was a kind of a steal.
So to the homie Johnny Jim Shoes, He asked, at this point in the season, do you think anyone in the AL Central fully falls off? Like
Royals.
fully falls off?
The Royals.
The Twins and the Royals. I mean, I think you can pretty much write that off. But right now, you got the Twins sitting at 18-12. The White Sox are 15-14 with so they're 2.5 games back. The Guardians are 15-15, so they're a full 3 games back. So the Twins are going to be a problem because the Twins that they thought they were getting last year have now shown up in 2022. And for right now, you have a healthy Byron Buxton who is an MVP type player. And they're getting, the guys that they thought were going to show up are showing up. And the Guardians have Jose Ramirez. They've had some guys like Quan had a unbelievable April. They've had some of these guys, who are
White
really
Sox owner
Josh Naylor, but again, they don't play the White Sox every game. So, but they're having these guys kind of play they're punching above their weight class right now. And I think the Guardians kind of fall back to where we all thought they would fall back to. And I mean, I could be very wrong. I was very wrong about Detroit. I thought Detroit would be a lot better this year. I think Detroit thought they'd be a lot better this year. I was watching MLB Network and they were all saying how they think Torkelson should be in AAA. Like they were roasting the Tigers for keeping him up right now. Like the Padres sent CJ Abrams back to AAA, and I just looked. He has 2 homers tonight.
I mean, there's been a lot of rookies who've been struggling.
Yeah, and we're seeing it across the league, and it's again another reason why I'm okay sort of with them slow rolling Yolbert Sanchez, the White Sox, but like it's starting to get to a point where the slow roll turns into like let's get going, and it's hard to be patient when your entire second base 3-headed monster all suck. It's just cheeks, but
Is that the new Cheeks trio, by the way?
It's the Cheek trio. I am sweating the Twins though. I mean,
Twins pitching has been
surprise.
I mean, who saw this coming?
Not I.
They are getting hit with the injury, but Chris Paddock he might get surgery. Is that what came out?
And I mean, hold on, I'm pulling their shit up right now. Like, Twins are good, man. And
it's pitching. Their pitching is very and then Byron Buxton, Correa is
I mean,
starting to turn it on a little.
Joe Ryan with a 2.56 ERA. They've been getting at Bundy. Paddock's gonna be hurt. Winder, some dude named Josh Winder, household name Josh Winder, is sitting here at 22 innings pitched with a 1.61 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
Ober's been good. Ober's at 20 innings pitched, 2.75 ERA.
He's injured too, I think.
I believe so, yeah. Archer's been Archer. But when you get into their bullpen, who's the homie that's throwing like 110? Like it's
Duran or something? Duran?
I can't think of the guy's name. I'm looking at their pitching right now, and I just cannot think of the guy's name. But he is just throwing net. He's like a Class A type. Like he is throwing just gas that moves, and it's like unhittable.
I think it's Johan Duran, 24-year-old.
Or Jan? No, not you. Hold on. Where the fuck is this guy? Yeah, Johan Duran, 14 innings pitched. He's got a 3.68 ERA. People are getting to him a little bit, kind of like Hunter Green. There's not that.
Green.
Well, I'm just saying he throws he's a flamethrower up there. But at the beginning of the year, it was moving, but people kind of are getting onto it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing, Carlos Correa has struggled to start the year, but now he's got the batting average up to 255 with a 6.93 OPS. He's only got 2 homers. I think they expect a little bit more power out of him. I mean, Byron Bucks is just gonna do what he does. He's, where's he at? 278? Yeah, with an OPS of 1.064.
Solid.
Yeah, he's, and then.
So just quickly, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, and then the other guy out of nowhere, this Trevor Larnach.
Yeah, Larnach.
67 at bats. hitting 313, 365, 448, OPS of 813. He's a
Yeah.
1.3 WAR right now. You know, all these household names showing up for the Twins, and that's
Hey,
I'm sure
that's what you need sometimes in the years that you don't
I'm sure
think
that
you're gonna do something.
I'm sure people will regress to the mean. It
Mhm.
always happens, but that's it's
So
oof.
just to have it on record, you don't sweat. Yeah, I need to hear it. You don't sweat the. Who don't you
No,
sweat?
the Tigers and the Royals.
What about Cleveland?
Cleveland
You
again.
don't sweat the Cleveland Guardians.
No, I wouldn't say don't sweat them, but I am concerned because I firmly believe they got guys that are gonna.
Their pitching just always like again. I think I've made this comparison before. Their pitching is just like the Brewers, where like they just have guys,
Mhm.
and, like they're just solid.
They got a pretty solid setup closer
Yeah, that classic.
in
I
Cleveland.
mean, I have,
Fez-
again like Kevin. I have no clue what the hell he was doing throwing home on that one
yeah, that
little
was
bunt, but
ooh,
that
What
guy's
the
nasty
heck?
too.
That's a brain
and
fart.
I also think the White Sox, we already saw a little bit of the boost in the offense with the warmer weather. Moncada's back. You're looking at Andrew Vaughn back in a week or so. Um, Eloy apparently in his miracle hamstring should be back soon. Um, but also the big names too that are coming back. Johnny Cueto had a great outing in AAA on Wednesday. You know, Cheeks might be on the hot seat. Hot Cheeks.
Well, not if you keep betting against him.
Right, that's true. But the
Well,
big home,
that gets you in a tough spot, so.
but the big homie's coming back. No, I'm gonna bet a lot more lightly against him. I'm not putting up the increments. I'll bet like $1 against him or
I
something.
completely
Just
forgot that game was on like at what, like 9:30 in the morning or something or whatever.
10:30. Yeah.
I saw your
So
message.
early
I'm
for
like,
us.
I saw your message and I was like, oh, let me see, like, have they started yet? They were already like in the fifth inning. Like, oh,
Yeah,
Dallas
that's the
Keipler's
new
rolling.
that's the
West
new
Coast
thing
problems. West Coast problems.
Yep.
NBC has this new thing now where on Sunday they got a morning game. They call it like breakfast baseball or something,
hmm
where there's going to be a morning game now every Sunday. And the broadcast wasn't that bad on that. They had a really good team with Stone and Jason, and then they had the Greek God of Walks in the booth too, which was great insight. That Apple TV broadcast though, I like the camera, I like the angles, I like the stats on the screen. And I know they're very young in their career, doing this, and I give them a lot of slack for that. It's not great, Bob.
The play-by-play. You're talking about
Yeah,
the color commentary.
yeah.
Yeah. The tech stuff is fan. I think one of the reasons why they're only doing one a week is the amount of tech and numbers and data that they're crunching into their system and how they have the production done takes a week. It's like an NFL football production, and so
Mhm.
that's great. But you're right. The broadcast team is.
I mean,
they're
if
not
you
bad. They're milk and toast.
if you
I could turn the volume off and watch the game and just be just fine.
if you need an example of what I'm talking about, pull up the clip of Luis Roberts' piss missile over the Green Monster and listen to the call. And the words were there, but like it was very monotone, like very like, oh wow,
That's
get out of the way. Here
that's
it
the
goes
thing.
over the Green Monster.
That's the thing, though.
You could put it on the
Because
board, yes.
because that's the thing, though.
It's
If let's
supposed to
just
be a
say,
neutral broadcast.
yeah,
Yeah.
imagine if it was the other way. If like Xander Bogaerts would have hit that home run, and they
Mhm.
would have had Bogaerts over the green.
But like she didn't even
Sox
have
fans would have been like, "What is this? A Red Sox broadcast?"
well that
That's
They
what
people
sucks
already,
about
yeah,
they were
national
already
broadcast.
doing that. They were already doing that,
That's what
though.
sucks about national
people are gonna
broadcast.
do
That
that no matter what.
they do have to be neutral. Like I remember when Len Casper was still with the Cubs, and he would do Fox Saturday Baseball, um, and like there was a Cubs Cardinals game, and like it came out to like the last play in the top of the ninth inning, like a diving play up the middle, and he had like you could tell he wanted to like put that extra oomph, but like he kind of just like toned it back because like it's a national broadcast. Like that's what sucks. And like that tweet that I shared with you guys, I think it was from Unprotected Sox. It's like, you want that attention for your team,
Mhm.
but you got to take the good with the bad, because the bad is you
So
get bad national broadcasts.
my point with the Apple TV, it could have been the Rangers versus the Angels, but homegirl needs to get she needs to get a home run call. She doesn't have like a phrase. Like you would think like day one stuff. Like what's the first thing you think of when someone's like you're in the
She needs
booth?
to go. She needs to go like that fucking psycho minor league announcer.
Did you
Like
see
cock
that?
it, sock it, rocket.
Yeah, that guy had a great double play ball. He's like, oh shit, I gotta look it up again. I completely forgot it now, but he had like that thing was
Put
smoother
that
than
guy on the call.
yeah. I mean, she just had no call that, and even if it was, Bogarts that put it over the monster, like it's an exciting play in baseball. You need to get excited for it.
No, you're right. You're right.
I mean, I know it's
It
a
was
neutral
bland. It was
broadcast,
bland.
but like it was very. And look out below. Robert hits it over the monster like that. It was just like, and then the color commentary guy. Who is that? Is that Chris Singleton?
No, it was. Oh my God, what was his name? Chris Young.
Chris Young. I knew I was
Yeah.
half, but I like that he was trying to tie it into like personal experiences and stuff, but like there's a way to do that. Like Troy Aikman does that really well. JD does it really well on the radio broadcast for the White Sox, like personal stories, like baseball stories, because that's what you want when you have a player in the booth at any sport.
Mhm.
But like he was telling the stories like you need to be a little bit better at telling those to like even the most novice fans would understand. He was using too much of the language. And as someone who's been a salesman my whole life, like especially in the industry that I'm in, like you do sometimes fall victim into using like your internal company language when you're talking to someone that's outside of the, I guess, circle or whatever. And that's never a good thing. You know what I mean? Are you guys following what I'm saying right now?
Yeah.
And like, I just think, and I'm again, they're very young. It's a very young experience. They're very fresh. They're basically rookies in this field, and I think it'll get better. But like I said, the cameras, the camera angles, the stats, all that stuff is I really enjoyed it. And I mean, if you really have that big of an issue with the broadcast, put it on mute, listen to the radio.
Mhm.
I mean, but I thought it was pretty good.
The only thing I have it, and I think I'm the only one because I don't think I saw anyone. I don't know why the light. It seemed more dim to me.
It
I
does.
know.
It
I
definitely
know it
seems
was a night
darker.
game, but didn't it seem extra? Like, why was it so dim?
Yeah, it definitely seems like a dark tint
Yeah.
to it. I don't
That
know.
was the
That
only
was weird.
thing I had on. I like all the stats stuff that they have at the bottom, the probability,
Hmm.
all this. I like the simplified score bug.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was the only thing I was like,
Big fan of that.
why is it dark in here? Like, or why is it so sensual watching this
Yep.
game right now?
Yeah, it was. It's
But don't worry,
weird.
Sox fan, you probably get some ESPN broadcasts too.
The Tuesday game versus Kansas City's on ESPN Plus. The Saturday, May 21st game in the Bronx is on ESPN Plus, and then they are on Sunday Night Baseball on May 22nd in the Bronx.
There you go.
And then the Saturday, May 28th game, the home game versus the Cubs is on Fox. So that's one of those AJ Przinsky. AJ's funny in the booth to me, man, because
Oh yeah, AJ's
AJ.
great.
Well, he's funny because of his antidotes, and he's another. That's perfect example. He knows how to talk about like personal life experience, but like he verbalizes it in a way where a novice fan would know what he's talking about. But the thing that makes me, excuse me, laugh about AJ, AJ likes the White Sox.
Mhm.
AJ has love for the White Sox. When he is on the broadcast booth for White Sox games, he overdoes it where he goes so far against the White Sox to prove that he's not like a White Sox homer, where you're like, yo, AJ, like stop. Like it was very relevant in the playoffs last year.
Mhm.
Like he was just dogging the White Sox every
Love
turn.
it.
And it was like you can tell it was I don't know why the hiccups off some. It was brutally obvious that he was doing that so no one would go on Twitter and be like,
Oh yeah, I remember like the White Sox fans were like mad about it too, right?
yeah, because I mean he was over the
Yeah,
top.
yeah. It was like
Yeah.
the play during the playoffs, and like they're like, hey, I saw like I'm gonna see him at the bar. Like, wasn't there like one thing like I saw him at the bar and like everyone
Well,
booed him or
yeah,
something?
he dogged the White Sox pretty bad, and then he tried to go to Shinnick's. For every White Sox fan who's listening to this knows what Shinnick's is. Local bar, Bridgeport bar, Great place to get a beer. Love that bar. And he walked into the bar and they started booing him because he was so bad about it. And he just was like, "Yep, fuck this." And he turned around and I think he had one beer and then bounced. You would like
Hilarious.
any other time AJ Brzezinski walks into that bar, like he
He's
can walk in
getting-
there right now
yeah.
and he's not paying for anything.
Yeah.
He's getting blacked out drunk. Someone's gonna try to get him to hook up with their sister or something. Like he is like
Or
a
someone's
god
gonna try to
amongst
find him
men.
with it.
Yeah. But that night after what he did on the broadcast, he walked in and got booed. So I think
That reminds me. You talking about how he was dogging the White Sox. Rick Sutcliffe has been on. He's been the color analyst
Mhm.
for these games out in the West Coast. Today's game, that inning that I told you about, like I forget it was the seventh. I think it was the seventh inning when the
Mhm.
Cubs just couldn't field the ball in the infield. He was like, it got to a point where like there was a pop up, or no. He's like the Padres had the bases loaded and there was one out, and Shambi, the play-by-play guy, goes like, hopefully Afros can like get a ground ball to someone. And Sutcliffe is like, man, at this point, I hope not, because nobody can field it. It's just like, like every ground ball after that, he's like, he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh God, don't hit it to this guy. He stinks, basically.
Yep.
And I kind of appreciate that. It's like, I know, though, there's a whole thing about the Hawk Harrelson, the homerism, but there is the one thing when, like, as you watching at home, you are frustrated and you hear that in your announcer. There's a bit of a like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, a little bit, but
Like you don't want overboard, but like once in a while you do want to hear that guys getting called out.
nope.
By the way, shout out the Atlanta Braves, down 3-2 in the ninth.
Just
Came
walked it
back,
off.
won 5-3. I had a -1.5. Thank
Oh,
you
nice.
very much.
Ooh,
Orlando Arcia, Cubs killer.
How about the Pirates taking 2 in a row from the Dodgers right after the Dodgers embarrassed the Cubs? Hurts a little bit.
The Pirates have like good pitching.
Yeah, that hurt.
Oh, I didn't see this picture.
Everyone was saying Dodgers was the -1.5 play today, and I
Oh no,
threw-
Kevin!
threw my whole account down on it.
Oh
today.
no, Kevin!
And then I went back to teaching, and I'm like, oh shit! After school was over, I'm like, son of a biscuit. I mean, it's all the money I won last week, so like.
I was gonna say somebody could have had a nice parlay with the Pirates and the Reds who blew out the Brewers. The Reds are hot. The Reds have the second best record in May.
I left a little bit of betting stuff in from the weekend was great. The Dodgers and the over
betting against the Cubs until before San Diego. Yeah,
exactly. So that I cashed that out, and then I just left whatever $50 in there, or $60 in there. I just threw it all down on the Dodgers. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
I didn't see this picture until right now. There's a great picture of Yu Darvish and Suzuki doing a jersey swap.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm just seeing it for the first time.
By the way, how wild was that? Seiya Suzuki, like, remember there was that report out of Japan, like Seiya Suzuki has signed with the Padres, and like a day later, it was like the Cubs are signing Seiya Suzuki. That was wild.
Yeah,
those are like best. We're not. I don't know how close they are. I think they had dinner with each other this week. Yeah. Seemed to be pretty close friends. Would be cool if they were on the same team. The Cubs tried to.
Yeah, they had it for a second.
They had it. Yeah.
Fids, all of you guys got anything before we dip?
No, I mean we're almost at the end of this. Where it's May 11th, so the tough stretch for the Cubs ends tomorrow,
and it starts for the White Sox.
No, that's the thing, Kevin. The Arizona Diamondbacks are like decent.
Ooh, I forgot when I said that I thought the Arizona Diamondbacks would be dog crap.
No, the tough stretch continues, guys.
It just extended. In fact,
I was going to say at this point, anyone who the Cubs play, because the Cubs are a bad team, so this tough stretch is going to just continue the entire year.
Yeah, the White Sox are about to 4 against New York, 5 against Kansas City, 3 against New York, 3 against Boston, 2 against the Cubs, 3 against Toronto, 3 against Tampa Bay, 3 against the Dodgers.
Ooh.
It's good. It's not up or shut up time for the White Sox. I mean,
I think I had the Cubs at 10 games under 500 at this point. At the end of June. No, at the end of May, excuse me. 10 games under by the end of May, I think. Or was it 15? It's one of those two. But the Sox I actually had at this point to be 10, 12 games over 500. So this is.
But I will want to leave with this. Keep your head up, Sox fans. Joe Kelly looked good. Moncada's back. Vaughn's coming back. Eloy got like a hamstring transplant or something. Lance Lynn is coming back. People aren't really talking about that enough. You're getting depth in Johnny Cueto. Yolbert Sanchez is a phone call away. Like Jose Abreu seems to be turning around. Larry Garcia is hitting the ball hard. Gavin Sheets seems to have gotten his power back. Luis Robert is still staying the course, which he's just fucking good.
Pollock had a good game.
Pollock hit that home, made me a couple hundo. So I think things are going to right the ship. Just as I was talking about those other teams coming back down to earth, I think the White Sox are finally going to start playing where we thought they would be. So the show goes on. I'm pretty excited about this upcoming game of baseball. And also, if you are still listening to this or watching this and you are going to the game on Thursday, I will be probably sitting in the 108 section with the homies. Come by, say hi. I'm probably not going to be drinking that much because it's a school night, but so please do not buy me anything because I don't want to do that. And
Get him drunk.
come by and say hello.
By the way, Zoe,
love seeing all you in person.
a lot of pressure on you because again,
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Cease has been dominating. So
Yep. The last time I was at a Sox game, I think, it was when Nick Madrigal hit his home run.
all right,
So
there
it
you
was
go.
with me.
Yeah.
Last time you went to a game was with me. You didn't get to another one last year, huh?
No, those damn offspring, man.
Bebe. The bebe.
Good. Baby and COVID, man, made it a little funky. So
That means everybody needs to buy you beers. Lots of beers. You need a lot of beers.
I'm driving there tomorrow night. So, because I'm not waiting 2 hours for an Uber like I had to do last time.
What?
We had to take a train, then an Uber. So
I was so tired and just wanted to go home at that point. And
how did the M&M's guy not hook you up with the limo?
I don't know, man. Somebody's gotta. But so for Fids, although I'm Zoe, y'all take care. Make sure you fade our bets, pay your bills, and the show goes on. We will see you guys next week.